So one of the areas that I'm actually really not that comfortable in is lighting. Funny enough to be a professed DP, lighting, when it comes to artificial lighting and recreating certain scenarios, the sun and whatnot, I really struggle in that area. And I've had great opportunities to work with great gaffers.
I think we break up the wall with a little cookie too in the corner there, so all this shit's just texture when he's riding past it.
For various projects, from large budget commercials to smaller short films. But now that I have sort of this time in between to really kind of hone in my skill, to really have a better way to communicate what I want on set, when I'm in those roles of being a DP and talking with gaffers and working with them, I want to be able to have a much more robust way of achieving things so I can work better with the people around me. And so the best way to do that obviously is to make, spec work or just work on projects on your own. So in this video, really I'm kind of just exploring the things that I struggle with when it comes to lighting. I have a friend of mine, Evan Naja. You might have seen her in the channel before if you're an OG. We did a music video a few years back when the channel first started. And we wanted to create a video for one of her new songs. And so that's what we did. It's actually just kind of work through some of these setups. What was I trying to achieve? What could I actually work with? What did I have to work with? So we're gonna kind of dive into all of that. So feel free throughout this video if there's something that I could have improved on, or you can share your best kind of go-to foundation for lighting, or anything that you want to, share, feel free to share in the comments below. And if you're new to the channel, say hello. That'd be kind of great to see who's coming this way. But yeah, let's actually just jump right into this.
Thanks to Aputure for sponsoring this video.
Now I will be utilizing my 300X, the 600C Pro, the first gen, and the 600P Nova for my lighting fixtures, along with the 150 softbox, the Fresnel 10, and the 26-degree spotlight. The camera I just decided to use for this project is just my X-H2S. Look at this amazing cable work. It's kind of crazy. I need some shorter USB-C cables. Anyway, this is the new 212 battery that Small Rig and Caleb Pike did a collaboration on. So this thing is a tank. Look how much it's taken up on that camera. I'm only going to do one lens. This lens is pretty versatile. It has a decent minimum focus. Give it a little bit of softer look. This has the Moment VND. I have a step-up ring from 67 to 82 on here. Then I have my lens cuff. This lens cuff comes in handy. It's on low torque. I can't say that word. Having the lens cuff directly onto the lens itself, it kind of relieves some of that stress in terms of it turning the lens very quickly on the rail, and it tends to slip, but having a lens cuff prevents that, which is nice having it. So I'm surprised I'm actually using this lens cuff way more. I was on the brink of trying to get rid of it for cheap, but I am so glad I haven't, because this is coming clutch for just a lot of solo compact rigs that I'm building more lately. So there it is, yeah. So like I was saying earlier, I am pretty rusty, and I don't have a lot of confidence when trying to see light and mix it with artificial to kind of give a certain look. I'll either lean heavily on naturalistic look, which is just using the sun and shaping that, or I'll go extremely surreal and just throw color around and try to shape that with color contrast and stuff. The middle area is where I really struggle with. How can I blend both and balance both? So that's pretty much my goal going into this. Planning will always give you the best results, because you can kind of see around the corner what might be some issues and things like that. So I'm figuring out issues throughout this process of trying to, be the grip and be the DP and director, which we're all kind of used to being one-man bands. Evan did give me a lot of references that she was looking for. And so one of the first references for this first setup was sort of this large light slash coming into the room. And then that would kind of fill the ambient. There's like this white cloth that kind of gave a little bit more levels back into her face and stuff from this reference. But here was the initial setup. I had turned off all the lights to see where my ambient is coming from, because I do have windows here. When I saw that, I was like, okay, I actually like what this looks like. So what I did was black out those windows, and I brought in all my lights and I pushed it to one side. Luckily, like, these garage doors are white, so I turned all the lights to start hitting this wall so it can just bounce and soften as it was coming and pushing levels towards Evan. And then for my slash of light, which is kind of silly, I think, because I didn't have enough space. The more distance you have, the more of a spread you have. Plus, I had a 26-degree spotlight on here, so I didn't get the strong slash effect like it was a door cutting through there, because I didn't want to open up the door. So I had this really thin beam of light coming across. But I actually liked this setup the most. It gave a little bit of complexity, a little bit of depth, even though it was pretty flat and straight on. I was framing 4 square anyway, so I was leaving things off to the side and I can kind of recrop and reframe in post. Now, granted, the color options of the 600P and the 600C aren't that powerful compared to the D or the X. So you're losing a little bit because of that chip is not as powerful. What I should have done first was actually switch the 300 with the 600 and allow that to help get more levels. I should have switched that to put the spotlight on that. And then I wish I had a few flags to kind of cut the light and I can make my own slash coming in. So I had it spread and then kind of narrow it down a little bit with the spotlight if I could use that, or just use a wider beam spotlight. Maybe I need to get the 36 option eventually. That would be a nice play between both of them. So those are the things I would kind of do differently in terms of the lighting. I did like the way it was coming in. It did feel a lot like the natural light coming from the windows from earlier. So I was happy with that, but I think it could have been a little bit tighter and the execution could have been better as well. Now the second setup, super simple. We had a lot of long grass and I like the texture, and I use Sunseeker because I know the way the sun kind of sets around here, it gets this nice glowy backlight. And I want to enhance it a little bit more with the 600C and the Fresnel, but that was a lost cause. It was abysmal. The light's not powerful enough to push through to get a little kick. So you really can't tell if there's any light happening right here, which is kind of funny, but that's a lesson learned here for myself. But I like the shot. I like the center framing of Evan and sitting in the chair kind of high up, and it does flatten it out a little bit. But once the sun did come out here and there, it gave this nice rim, gave this nice edge, and it gave a nice look, honestly. I just wish I could have enhanced it more with a more powerful light. So, you know, a 1200D would have been perfect in this scenario to kind of blast light and shape it. But I was trying to do both, and the 600C with the Fresnel doesn't work out the way I thought it would. And this last bit, this is where we kind of like played a little bit more. I wish I shot more textured interior shots, but we used the spotlight again to kind of highlight a spot on the ground. She would paint, or we would have some leaves to kind of act like gobo textures and stuff like that, which was kind of nice. I had them laid down. I did this shot a while back when I shot for SO, the kid. I was trying to get back to that. You could tell I was really kind of struggling with this framing. I think she was a little bit too close to the edge. I should have pulled back a little bit more. I wanted the hard light, but I don't know exactly what I was trying to achieve here. I think it looks good, but again, it could be much more fine-tuned in this case. And then, you know, one of the issues I have with trying to direct as well as camera and well as pay attention to light is that you lose the more important thing, which is, well, I lose the most important thing, which is directing and getting the best performance out of whoever I'm working with in front of the camera. For me, it's hard to do all that all at once. I believe it's hard for anyone to do all that all at once. And that's nothing on them. You know, we kind of just have fun throughout the whole day. It wasn't as serious. But if I wanted to come and take away with something a bit more satisfying, I think I should have kind of intervened a bit more with how I want the feel, how they want to come across camera. It was a lot on, you know, trying to be on your mind as you're figuring out things. And so I think overall though, it was a fun project, and I'm glad I did, because I can actually talk about it and share it with you here. It highlights a lot of things that I need to kind of be more aware of. Now, I'm not here beating myself up or anything like that. Again, low risk project, no money involved, it's just time, and you know, we just want to be able to have fun doing it. I just want to give a shout out to my boy, Edward. We talked through this video. I was kind of struggling with how I want to present it. But, you know, just being honest of where I am is going to be the best beneficial to those who might come across this video. And hopefully you will see the growth and trajectory kind of move from here. You know, that creative gap that we all kind of deal with, the way you want something to look, but you're at your skill level now, and then there's that gap in between, and you're constantly moving towards getting to that point where you want to, you know, be really good at. Now, granted, that gap will probably never close, which is the good thing. That's what's gonna always propel you to get better. With that being said, once the music video is actually finished, I'll probably post it here or post in the community tab the link to Evan's page so you actually watch it there. But yeah, catch you guys on the next video. Should be a fun one.